Well, hello again there, friends and family. So good of you to stop by this evening. And as you can see, we're in one of my least favorite places, but sometimes we got to go there for some things we need. You can see we're in the pet care portion of our local Walmart Supercenter. And you can clearly see it's not in very good shape. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about the state of pet food in the U.S. Now, we've all seen shortages and out of stock since about third or fourth quarter 2020. We all know the reasons that were stated. And they continued throughout the first part of 2021 into the latter part. This was primarily at first the wet cat food. And the reasons given for that was, well, of course, the virus. And then secondly, there was an aluminum shortage, the raw material of aluminum, to make the aluminum cans, which are what primarily wet cat food is packaged in. Unlike a lot of your wet dog food, which still comes in steel cans, or it did the last time I looked. But over time, as you can see here on the left, the wet cat food has ever so slowly started to make a comeback. Yeah, and as I show you this little clip here that was taken on December the 6th of this year, or last year, 2022, when I went out to start restocking, yeah, it's looked way worse. So I was actually thankful for that. But here on the right, that's pretty devastating. And in all truth, that's the first time I've seen our Walmart look like this in the dry cat food aisle. In fact, even during 2020 and throughout 2021, for the most part, the dry cat food remained fairly stable and in stock. And if there wasn't a particular brand I wanted, the Kitty Crew, Cleo, Spooky, Speedy, old Mr. Gray, sometimes Heathcliff, and of course little Gracie and a little bit too, they prefer the Kit and Caboodle brand above all things. So, but then I could go to Chewy, where I would normally find it, or even go to Walmart.com and it would be there, along with the other brands I buy, like Meow Mix. And as you'll see here in the lavender bag, that's for my special needs kitties in the house, Gracie and Lilybit, which do have health issues that continue. That's the Purina cat chow that's gentle for, stomachs and that. But this was the situation at the 1st of December in 2022. Now let me play it for you, if you don't mind. Well, we're here, Sunday. I think it's December 6th, and as you can see, not sure what's going on with the dry cat, but the shelves are bare. Pretty much so. There's some small ones. Wonder what's going on. No food for my kitty. Plenty of wet food though. Just guess we'll get more of that. If you know what's going on, let me know. So as you can see, other than some small bags of food and of course the Iams brand, the dry cat food was decimated. And there, as we're looking now at the wet, you're going to see some empty partial shelves. That's primarily the special kitty brand, Walmart's brand. And then you can see there are some gaps with the Friskies, Meow Mix, Fancy Feast, and that are. But overall, should I have needed any wet at the time, there was plenty that was there that the Kitty Crew would have enjoyed. Another thing I'd like to say before we go further in the video is this is in no means putting out a call to y'all to send Mr. Tom or the Kitty Crew nothing. So, I want you to be assured the Kitty Crew is going to be well taken care of and well fed. In fact, I've taken measures, as you'll see as we progress in the video, to ensure that happens, as well as ones I can't show you yet, but should it all arrive, they'll be just fine for the next 6 months. Now here, I took a photo. This was my next trip to Walmart. And before anybody says anything, at first glance you might say, well, that looks exactly like it did on that short video you took, Mr. Tom. Well, if you look closely, it doesn't. If you look at this here top shelf on the short video clip, it's full. Now where this is nearly empty. Down here, there were 3 bags of this Meow Mix Bistro. Now there's 2. The Purina Cat Chow Gentle for sensitive stomachs, which were 3 bags, is gone. I got one of them when I was there on the 6th. And beside that was 2 or 3 bags, green bags, and these were both 13 pounds of the Purina Cat Chow for indoor cats, which is also missing. The only thing left now is some small little 3-pound bags. They've got the Iams brand of 6-pound bags for extreme prices, anywhere from nearly $17 to nearly $18. And if you look down here at this 13-pound bag, or it might be 16 pounds, I think it's 16, that's $31 and some change. Yeah. Now the first thing I'll say, if indeed I thought at this time on December the 21st, 15 days later from when I went on December the 6th, and Iams was the only thing I thought I could get, as much as I would hate it, I would have bought some Iams to get us through. It's good stuff. Don't know if the Kitty Crew will eat it, because I bought them some good stuff before. When yeah, okay. They turned their nose up for a while, and I had to leave it out there for a while for them to even touch it. I.e., they had to get hungry. But this now, 15 days later, was the situation at my Walmart here in the deep south of Alabama on December the 21st. Now what I did do, I didn't buy anything. I came home and I immediately went to Walmart.com, where when I went on Walmart.com, it showed there were things. When I selected my store and selected the option to view products in stock at my store, which you can do, it showed there was cat food available. Even Kitten Caboodle, Meow Mix, Friskies. Yeah, dry cat food. Well, you can clearly see they lied. Then when I went to look to see, because normally I have it shipped to me via Walmart.com, the option to ship was not available for any of those brands. The only thing that was available to ship was some Purina Complete Cat Chow, which I went ahead while I was there and had them ship me 2 bags of 22 pound. It's all I had showing of the Purina Complete Cat Chow. But then I went over to Chewy and found the same situation. Plenty of the smaller bags, and that was the case at Walmart.com too. Kitten Caboodle was out of stock. Anything above a 3.15 pound bag, or I think it's a 6.15 or 7 pound, was out of stock. But it would be 2 days before the Purina would come. And I thought, We'll wait till after the first of the year and see if the situation changes before we panic. And panic's going to be the key word, because there would come a time. Exactly what happened. I'm sorry. They're my furry friends. I panicked. Now what you're looking at now is the wet cat food on the opposite aisle. And you can clearly see that bottom shelf, which was pretty much, except with a couple of little gaps, full of Friskies. And you can see more than half of it's gone. The second shelf there, which here again had a couple of gaps or boxes missing from the front, which is of Meow Mix and Fancy Feast, not much left. And up there on the Special Kitty, 3 shelves, that same area to the far end on the right is still empty. And then there's that gap there in the middle, and the box up here that's just an empty box. So you got the hole here, and this still remains empty. So the wet food is being depleted as well. Of course, all the treats, the lickables, and all that nonsense that's nice to give our kitty furry friends, it's pretty much fairly well stocked. Yeah, at ridiculous prices, I might add. So this was the state of my Walmart, both for the dry cat food and for the wet cat food. Much worse. Of course, not so much worse for the dry, because there wasn't much to begin there with on December the 6th. This being December the 21st, 15 days later. No restocking. The wet cat food is diminishing. Apparently, people don't have a choice. Those that normally feed dry are doing whatever they can to keep the furry friends well fed. So once again, once I left here, I went back home. I was starting to get a little bit panicky. And I went ahead, sat down, after I told the news to Spooky, and I looked at Walmart.com. And pretty much it said what I already knew. And there wasn't much of anything except smaller bag quantities that they would ship to you. So yeah, that anxiety, that panic in the back of my head got a little worse. But I had the Purina coming, which it did arrive. And that would get them through for nearly a month. But then the first of the year would come, and I would look again at Walmart.com. I would look again at Chewy, and the situation persisted. And then, 2 nights ago, not last night or the night before, well actually I guess it was 3 nights ago, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Reagan Benoit, and his wife Kelly. And they decided they had to go out on that particular evening. After we were talking about the cat food situation, they were getting low too. They were down to their last bag of cat food, as well as chicken food. So they jumped in the car while we continued to talk along the way, and they went to their local Walmart in Sulphur, Louisiana. And they found the same situation I've been finding here. Basically, the same. The dry cat food was non-existent. And they were quite befuddled. I mean, there was none. So they left there, and I believe they went to PetSense, or maybe it was PetSmart, I'm not sure, and pretty much found the same situation there in Sulphur. So I brought up the fact, well, Tractor Supply has kitty food. Maybe they'll have some. Of course, they need to go there anyway, because that's where they buy their chicken feed. So they went there. And in fact, they found some kitty food. And they picked up 2 large bags. my mind evades me as to what particular brand it was, but it was 2 larger bags, 30 pounds or more. Mine have been 40 pounds or more. And they got that so they could feed their kitty crew. So it was after, we got off the phone then, seeing that this situation was just not in my little small town and area in the deep south of Alabama, that indeed it was happening also in Louisiana. I thought, well, tomorrow I've got to head out and I've got to find some food for my furry friends, my kitty crew, and my 2 indoor kitties, Gracie and Lilybit. And that's exactly what I would do in the morning of January the 3rd. And the first place I would stop, you might know it well, that was Superfood. Let's go there now and show you what they had and what I did to make sure the kitty crew would be well fed for some time in the future. Well, as you can see, and you probably recognize this place. This is our Superfoods, locally owned and operated on the east side of the river, over here on my side. Yep, on January the 3rd, after constantly checking Chewy and Walmart, got myself dressed, got myself cleaned up, and first thing out of the door, I went to Superfoods. And as you can see, they've got some cat food. Now, Superfoods has never had a large cat food area. If you look down from it, past where the cat aisle is, the rest of the aisle is dog food. Way more than cat food, which I might add, looks fairly better stocked, but also has gaps too. I didn't go down there to check it. I don't have doggies. It's not like I don't like doggies. All of y'all that follow the channel know I took in a very nice doggie last year till we found her owner, and that was Stella, a black lab. She was a lovely furry friend, and on occasion I go visit her. As you can see, it's not fully stocked, but there's plenty here. And let me just play you the clip I took when I was there and show you what I did. And you might recognize this. Yeah, we're at my locally owned and operated Superfoods. Yeah, they always know your name. So glad you came. And we're buying cat food. And fortunately for us, they have some left. Yeah, when I went to Walmart, I've been there twice in the last 2 weeks. There was none to be had. And then when I went to Chewy, none to be had. Walmart.com, none to be had. PetSmart. It's all about the cat food. And it's starting to affect the dog food. And what used to be just wet cat food being a problem, now it's the dry. But they've got some here. And I've got to load up. So hey, y'all sit back, be quiet in the buggy, and let me dump in some bags. Make sure the kitty crew is well fed. So for now, we don't want to be a glutton and take it all. We got us 5 bags. They're 16-pound bags. And we'll be bringing them home. And that'll basically get me a month and a half. Well, hey, let me go pay for this real quick, because that's all the only reason we came here. And let's get her loaded up in the truck. When we get back home, we'll talk more about the cat shortage and dog food shortage of 2023. Now, as you can see, I got 5 bags, all of which were 16 pounds. Yeah. And to let you know, that's 2 months of dry cat food for the kitty crew, outdoors, and Gracie and Lilybet. So, with what I had here already, which was most of a bag, and a full bag of that gentle, sensitive stomach, okay, that's over 2 months. Well, about 2 months and a week. But notice, granted, I took the last bag of Kit and Caboodle. I mean, come on, that's my favorites for the kitty crew. All of them love Kit and Caboodle. I don't know why, because normally it's the most economic. But they love it. But you see, I left plenty there. In all reality, or all truth, could I have bought way more? Yeah. I could have kept chunking in that buggy until it couldn't hold no more. Yep. But I didn't. Because, see, I know there's other people that have their little furry friends. And yeah, my kitty crew comes first over other people's kitties in my mind. But folks, we got to have some compassion in situations like this. And even if we can buy everything on the shelves, is it right to do so and deprive others? No. In all total now, the kitty crew has, once I added up everything I got, plus what I now have confirmed on order, they've got enough to go, for, not counting the bag that's open, 5.4 months. And I'm not going to sit on my laurels. I'm not going to wait till I'm down to my last bag again. Or my last case of wet food. Which used to be something we all did. Oh no. I'm going to be constantly keeping a vigilant eye out on Chewy, Walmart.com, Superfoods. And when I see an abundance, I'm going to strike. And I'm going to make sure the kitty crew is well fed and stays, they're not fat. They're poofy. But that's mostly the winter coats. I make sure they get their daily requirements of what they should have based on science, veterinarian science, and nutritional recommendations, plus a little extra. And of course they get their treats, which primarily have come for all of you, their fans and viewers. And I can tell you what, every time I break out one of them treat things, they go crazy. Not sure what's in those things, even though I'll be the first to admit, I've actually tasted one to see. And I've lived to tell the story. Well, I don't know what makes them go crazy for them, but it's nothing I'd go crazy for. But my whole point to this is the situation we're in. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, we're seeing the same situation with people food. No, we're not. What we're seeing is shortages, other than the fact of eggs, which have got crazy. For obvious reasons that we're told. And that, whether you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. And that also affects what's on these shelves too. Eggs. And egg protein. But primarily, again, For people food, it's stuff we could live without or make ourselves, most of which is processed foods. Silly things like, they're slim to none on frozen potatoes. Meanwhile, over in the produce section, there's plenty. I may have to do a video again to refresh people's memories on how to make fries. Yeah, which is how I primarily do it. And that's another thing I'll say right now, I'm not worried about me starving, or my children, or my grandchildren. Now, yes, over the years, 20 years, I've put back long-term food storage, medium-term food storage, and I got my pantries for short-term food storage. And I'm eating out of that. And I have been eating out of that since the middle of last year. Hence the reason I can go 3 and 4 months without going to the grocery store. And if I do, it's just to pick up a few things, like milk and bread, and butter and such things. And you saw that on my meager food haul. That's all I bought, except for that loaf of bread. And there was also 3 pounds of onions in that cart. And I had lettuce. A nice big head of lettuce. Albeit it was $2.58 a head, but it had been, as you all know, and I got a lot of criticism for, $5.25 earlier in the month of December. But you know what? I stretched that lettuce to many, many meals, and I enjoyed every last sandwich. But the reason I wanted to do this video too is to alert all of y'all, and also to get your feedback. What you're seeing in your areas where you live throughout the U.S. Is this typical where you live? And if you live in other countries, I got a lot of viewers in the UK, over in Ireland, hey, Scotland, yeah, over in Europe, even in Asia. Let me know. Let our community know. Is this just an American thing? Or a Western country thing? Or is this pretty much all around the world? And then if you know the reason why, that now even the dry cat food is drying up, let me know. Because I've spent a lot of hours looking into it. And the only things people are saying right now is certain ingredients are in short supply. Mostly the vitamins and supplements that go into the cat food. If I had to guess, those come from China, which is battling with something we're all too familiar with, and apparently not doing well with it. So, if you've got another reason, or you know for sure, see, I'm not going to tell you anything that another YouTube channel showed without proof, some fly-by-night website that calls themselves journalists, that's nothing but shock and awe. Might as well be an online version of the Inquirer, like the U.S. Sun or the Daily Mail or all that. Like, come on. I'm not going to do that. I've got to know for sure before I share it with you. And see, I know this is for sure, at least in my area. And until I got the superfoods here and put that in my cart, which a lot of people are going to say, that's a whole lot of cat food. Well, I go through a whole lot of cat food every month. 45 pounds. Yep. And that ain't because I'm feeding more than I should. It's not. Being the engineer in me, I look up the nutritional guidelines for whatever weight a kitty, and then I give them a little extra because I can. But if it comes down, push come to shove, and I got to cut it back to just what's recommended, I can do that too. And should all the dry cat food dry up and all the wet cat food dries up, well then, my friends, I'll be cooking for the kitty crew. And what will that be? Chicken, pork, yeah, hamburger. I'll get some rice, because that's in a lot of your higher end cat foods, both canned and dry. I'll be chopping up some carrots or mashing them, and peas, beans. Yeah, you just leave out the alliums, the onions and the garlic. And I'll cook up big pots of it. And I'll probably have some too, because it'll be good meat and good veggie if it comes down to it. Because occasionally I do that now. And of course I treat them to tuna every week. Yeah, they're spoiled, but they're all I got, and I'm all they got. They're papa. So hey, in the comments below the video, let me know what you're seeing in your area. Is it better, or is it worse, or does it come and go? And I'd like to say Happy New Year to all of you. Hope it's going well. It's not starting out the greatest on many ways. With the weather, many of you know, last night as well as a week back, we've had some tremendous storms. And of course, homes have been destroyed and damaged, and people have lost their lives again. And then we have this, along with many other situations going on. But I still do hope, and I still pray, 2023 will be better than the year we left behind. So until the Kitty Crew, Spooky, Speedy, Cleo, Mr. Gray, sometimes Heathcliff, and little Gracie and Lily Bit see you, y'all take care. Stay safe, stay warm, stay well fed, and may God bless you as you bless those in your lives. Until the next time we meet. Later, all.